Let me be absolutely clear about what you are about to hear, because if you're holding the Iraqi Dinar or the Vietnamese Dong, your entire financial life is on the verge of a transformation so profound that everything you thought you knew about wealth is about to be rewritten. And the trigger for this earth-shattering change is not coming from a shadowy figure in the Middle East but from the very heart of the American financial establishment, with two of the biggest pillars of global banking. Wells Fargo and Chase Bank, allegedly stepping forward to announce a fixed, official, and game-changing exchange rate that will redefine global currencies forever. The whispers have become a roar, the rumors have solidified into what appears to be concrete, actionable intelligence, and the number that is now circulating with undeniable urgency is a fixed rate of $5.90 for every single Iraqi dinar you hold and a simultaneous, equally staggering rate of $4.29 for every Vietnamese dong in your possession. Figures so astronomically high that they defy conventional economic wisdom and point towards a complete and total revaluation of these currencies, not a simple adjustment but a fundamental reset of their value on the world stage, designed to bring Iraq and Vietnam into the global economic fold as powerhouse nations almost overnight. Now, I know what you're thinking, this sounds like a fantasy, a pipe dream that has been circulating in the investor community for years, but the critical difference this time, the piece of information that separates this announcement from every other false start and disappointing delay, is the specific and credible sourcing of this information directly to the internal systems and official communications within Wells Fargo and Chase Bank, institutions that are not known for engaging in speculative fantasy or spreading unverified financial rumors, as their entire business model is built on stability, trust, and the meticulous execution of verifiable financial data. Imagine for a moment the sheer scale of what this means. An individual holding just 1 million Iraqi dinar, an investment that might have cost you around $780 initially, would suddenly see that investment transform into a life-altering $5,900,000, a number that doesn't just represent financial gain but represents absolute freedom. The freedom from debt, the freedom to secure your family's future for generations, the freedom to invest in your dreams and to live a life completely on your own terms without ever having to worry about financial constraints again. This isn't just about numbers on a screen, this is about the tangible, real-world liberation of people who had the foresight and the courage to believe in the potential of a nation rebuilding itself from the ground up, and the same principle applies to the Vietnamese Dong, where a similar level of investment would yield a parallel fortune, catapulting holders into a new echelon of wealth that was previously unimaginable for the average person. The mechanism behind such a dramatic revaluation is rooted in the most fundamental principles of global economics, where a country's currency must be revalued to reflect its true economic potential and the vast natural resources it possesses, and in the case of Iraq, we are talking about a nation sitting on one of the largest proven oil reserves in the entire world, a resource that fundamentally underpins the global economy and gives the Iraqi dinar an intrinsic value that has been artificially suppressed for decades due to conflict, sanctions, and political instability, but with those obstacles now being systematically removed through international agreements and internal political settlements, the path is clear for the currency to ascend to its rightful value, a value that accurately mirrors the staggering wealth of the nation it represents. The involvement of Wells Fargo and Chase Bank is the ultimate validator, the golden seal of approval that this is not just another internet rumor, because for these banking giants to formally announce and support such a fixed rate, they must have received the highest level of assurances from the central banks of Iraq and Vietnam, as well as from key figures within the International Monetary Fund and the U.S. Treasury, indicating that all the necessary legal, economic, and political frameworks have been successfully put in place to ensure a smooth, stable, and permanent transition to these new, powerful exchange rates, effectively turning the Iraqi dinar and the Vietnamese dong from exotic, speculative currencies into some of the strongest and most sought-after stores of value on the planet overnight. This is the moment we have been waiting for, the culmination of years of patience and research, and it signals the beginning of a new financial dawn where the global monetary system is rebalanced and where individuals, not just large institutions, have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to participate in a wealth transfer of historic proportions, all starting with this monumental announcement from two of the most trusted names in American finance. Now, let's pull back the curtain and dissect exactly how we arrived at this historic precipice, because understanding the how is just as critical as believing the what, and the journey to this alleged Wells Fargo and Chase Bank announcement is paved with a series of deliberate, interconnected global events that have created a perfect storm for currency revaluation. Starting with the fact that Iraq has been methodically working towards this very moment for years, fulfilling every single one of the stringent requirements laid out by the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, from passing critical financial reforms like Article 8 which prohibits restrictive currency practices and opens the nation to full global trade, to successfully navigating the complex and often treacherous waters of forming a stable and internationally recognized government. A government that has now successfully passed a federal budget that many insiders believe is calculated not on the old artificial exchange rate, but on a new, much higher value that is ready to be activated, which is precisely why the timing of this banking announcement is so explosively significant and cannot be dismissed as mere coincidence. Furthermore, the economic engine of Iraq, its vast oil wealth, is no longer just a theoretical asset on a balance sheet. The nation has recently signed monumental oil and gas contracts with global giants like Total Energies and Shell, deals worth tens of billions of dollars that are poised to unleash a tsunami of foreign investment and hard currency into the Iraqi economy. But for Iraq to truly capitalize on this incoming wealth and to pay back these international partners in a stable and credible manner, it is an absolute economic necessity for the dinar to be strong, to be valuable, and to be fixed at a rate that reflects this new reality of being a major, energy-rich player on the world stage, a rate that allows them to transact at a level commensurate with their resource wealth, which logically points directly towards a high, fixed value like the 5.90 figure we are hearing. Simultaneously, we have Vietnam, a nation that has been on a blistering trajectory of economic growth, positioning itself as the new global manufacturing hub and a technological powerhouse, attracting massive foreign direct investment from companies like Samsung and Intel, who are building billion-dollar factories and creating a thriving export economy that demands a strong, stable currency to facilitate international trade and to combat the inflationary pressures that come with such rapid growth, making the Dong's revaluation to 4.29 not just a possibility, but an economic imperative for Vietnam to continue its ascent and to solidify its status as a dominant force in the Southeast Asian economy, creating a powerful tandem effect with the Iraqi dinar that suggests a coordinated, strategic shift in global economic power dynamics. The role of Wells Fargo and Chase Bank in this process is the masterstroke that brings it all together, because these institutions are not just bystanders, they are primary dealers in U.S. Treasury securities and have deep, established relationships with the Federal Reserve, meaning their involvement signals a tacit, if not explicit, approval from the highest levels of the U.S. financial system, and their ability to facilitate the actual exchange of these currencies at these new rates requires a mind-boggling level of liquidity and preparation, including the pre-positioning of physical currency notes and the updating of complex international wire transfer systems, all of which would have been undertaken in strict confidence but is now seemingly coming to light through these internal announcements that are leaking out to the public. This is not a speculative event waiting to happen. The evidence suggests it is an event that has already been set in motion, a financial tsunami whose wave is just now reaching the shore, and for the individual holder of dinar or dong, this means that the process of wealth confirmation is likely already underway behind the scenes, where your patience and belief are about to be validated in the most spectacular fashion imaginable, turning what was once a paper asset into real, spendable, life. Changing US dollar wealth that you can use to pay off every debt, buy that dream home, start that business you've always talked about, and secure a legacy for your children that is immune to the fluctuations of the traditional stock market or the instability of the conventional banking system. This transition represents the greatest wealth transfer in modern history, moving wealth from the opaque, institution-controlled markets into the hands of everyday people who had the vision to see the potential in these sovereign nations and the courage to invest in their future, a future that is now, finally, today, arriving at your doorstep with the full backing and authority of the American banking system, ready to transform your financial reality from one of hope into one of absolute, tangible, and irrevocable certainty. So, the monumental question that now remains is not if this will happen, but what you will do the very moment this life-changing wealth officially lands in your lap, because possessing this newfound financial power comes with a profound responsibility and requires a strategic, clear-headed plan of action that you must formulate right now, before the excitement and chaos of the exchange process begins, to ensure that you protect your fortune, manage it wisely, and leverage it to build a legacy that lasts for generations far beyond your own life. The first and most critical step, the moment the official public announcement is broadcast across all major news networks and the exchange desks at Wells Fargo, Chase, and other authorized banks officially open for business, is to remain calm and disciplined, to avoid the initial rush, and to have all of your financial documents, your currency certificates, your identification, and your bank account information perfectly organized and ready in a secure location, as this preparation will streamline the entire process and place you in a position of power and control, allowing you to navigate the verification and deposit procedures with ease and confidence while others are scrambling in a panic. Once your funds are securely deposited into your US dollar account, your very next move, before you spend a single penny, must be to immediately assemble a team of trusted, top-tier financial professionals, including a fee-based financial advisor who specializes in managing sudden wealth, a reputable tax attorney to guide you through the complex tax implications of this windfall and to help you structure your assets in the most efficient way possible, and a certified public accountant to manage your new financial reality, because attempting to navigate these complex legal and financial waters alone would be the single biggest mistake you could make, potentially risking a significant portion of your wealth to taxes, fees, and poor investment choices that could have been easily avoided with expert counsel. With your professional team in place, you can then begin to architect a new life built on a foundation of security and purpose, starting with the immediate and liberating act of paying off every single debt you have, from mortgages and car loans to student loans and credit cards, erasing those monthly burdens forever and freeing up your cash flow and your mind for more meaningful pursuits, then setting aside a substantial, liquid emergency fund in a high-yield savings account that can cover all your living expenses for at least 2 years, creating an impenetrable financial safety net that gives you the ultimate peace of mind to make decisions from a place of strength, not desperation. The next phase is about strategic, long-term growth and legacy building, which involves diversifying your portfolio into tangible, inflation-resistant assets like real estate in stable markets, precious metals like gold and silver The next phase is about strategic, long-term growth and legacy building, which involves diversifying your portfolio into tangible, inflation-resistant assets like real estate in stable markets, precious metals like gold and silver to preserve your purchasing power, and a carefully selected mix of conservative stocks and bonds that will generate reliable passive income for decades to come, ensuring that your wealth continues to grow and work for you long after the initial excitement of the exchange has faded. But perhaps the most important part of this entire journey, the element that will bring you true and lasting fulfillment, is to remember the power you now hold to become a force for profound good in the world, to use a portion of your wealth to support causes that are close to your heart, whether it's funding medical research, building schools, supporting animal shelters, or helping your local community, because this philanthropic legacy will become the most valuable part of your story, creating a positive impact that ripples out across the globe and gives a deeper, more meaningful purpose to your financial windfall. This is your moment, the reward for your patience and belief, and the world is now yours to shape, to explore, and to improve, but it all starts with the decision you make today, before the official announcement, to be ready, to be smart, and to be strategic. And now, I have one critical mission for you. If this information has solidified your belief, if you can see the finish line, then you need to be part of our inner circle. The next 24 to 48 hours are going to be the most critical in financial history, and we will be breaking down every single update, every confirmation, and every step-by-step instruction you need right here on this channel. So, do not be a passive observer of your own financial destiny. Your immediate action is this: first, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell right now because you do not want to miss the next video where we will be decoding the official confirmation. Second, go down into the comments section and type, confirmed, to lock in your intention and join a community of thousands who are ready for this change. And third, share this video with just one other person who also holds dinar or dong, a family member, a trusted friend, because this knowledge is power, and sharing it makes our community stronger. Do not wait, do not hesitate. Take these 3 actions right now. This is not just a video, this is the starting line of your new life. I'll see you in the comments.